Hello, I'm IBX Toycat, and welcome back to another live episode of the Update Adventures Let's Play. A lot of people have been missing the old style of Let's Play. You know, we play some Minecraft, we do something fun in the background, and we talk, you know, maybe a little bit too deep or philosophically, but a lot of people like that, and so how about you get over an hour of this today, because this is a Let's Play, and yet it is live, and my focus for this particular one is going to be on Deepslate. Everyone, when they hear Deepslate, they think of, you know, polished Deepslate, cobbled Deepslate, all the things you can make from it that are wonderful. Cobbled Deepslate is a wonderfully useful block. However, at the same time as cobbled Deepslate being useful, there is another block called Deepslate, which is, you know, I mean, you can maybe guess from the fact that we're trying to find uses from it, not a very useful block at all. The difference, in case you're curious, is that cobbled Deepslate can be crafted into everything, and Deepslate just exists. It's the inverse situation with stone and, or the same as stone and cobblestone, you might say, except stone can be used for some recipes, whereas regular Deepslate cannot be used for any. All of these recipes use Deepslate, use cobbled Deepslate. See, even I make the mistake, and you cannot turn cobbled Deepslate regular Deepslate into anything. Want to make a staircase? Well, that's not a staircase, but you want to make a staircase? Doesn't work. You want to make a button? Doesn't work. Do you want to make, you know, like into something else? No, there is no recipe that uses Deepslate, which is crazy because they've even been working on dirt being one of the foundational resources for this. So, yeah, I think Deepslate is a bit of a weird oddity. Whether it's an intended feature or a bug, you know, doesn't really affect us as a player, because even though it is important to know on some level, like, well, is this Deepslate useful? The answer is, what does it really come to? As a player, you have, you know, like, you can work around what's going to change, and you can come up what you think is going to happen, but also you're in a world filled with different resources. You can choose to ignore it because it's no useless, or Streamly Fish. Good to see you, Wizard Gamer. Happy Streammas. It is the 5th day of Streammas today. But yeah, you can choose to take any of these, you know, blocks in the game and ignore them. You think Deepslate's awful, you can ignore it. Or you can place it on the entire side of a mountain, because I just love this look. Something you don't naturally see in Minecraft is Deepslate above the ground. Deepslate is only below Y0 or so, which means that a Deepslate mountain is both very plausible, but also doesn't exist. And so this Deepslate mountain I ran out of Deepslate for when I was making it before, and I've got some extra Deepslate. Let's go ahead and let's cover up at least these sections up there. It's going to be a little bit tricky, but we're going to do it today. And then we're going to go to the Nether, because I've got another fun idea for what to do with it over there. And then, you know, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're gonna slowly make our world a little bit more Deepslatey in ways that you wouldn't expect, and honestly, that you're probably going to hate when it's done. But that's the beauty in that's the beauty in the game sometimes, is that even when it's awful, it's still Minecraft. So, when is the next Nether tunnel? Do you have a bow? Yeah, bringing a bow with me to the Nether is something I've learned, don't worry. I'm going to go to the Nether tunnel today. If you want a spoiler alert, I think that's where we're going to take the Deepslate next, because I think Deepslate in the Nether is also another jarring place for it. Personally, I like when things are in places they shouldn't be. I get a real joy, a real satisfaction from knowing that something is a little bit broken. So thank you for helping me get excited about Christmas, says Diggin' Troops. Actually, that's the first thing I want to talk about today, because it is December. I don't know why I'm just in a like, I bought a Santa hat entirely on a Cat's request, and I was like, yeah, it'll just be a silly thing to wear. But over the course of this, over the course of Streammas, I am getting more and more like in this, like, let's call it a Christmassy mood. And it's weird because I want to be clear that I'm not like a big religious person. Like, it's not one of the guiding principles in my life. It's cool if it's one of the ones in yours, but it's not where I lay most of my values. Like, as much as anyone can say they don't lay their values in something that probably underpins, you know, like the world that they live in. I mean, you know, even if you hate your country, like you despise your country, you really don't like what it does, you'd have to admit that you're influenced by it. Even if I hated the UK, I'd have to admit a bacon roll is a good breakfast. And is it a good breakfast objectively, or is it a good breakfast because it's one that I've had, because you know, like that sort of dumb thing. I don't know why a bacon roll is even a British thing, by the way. Like, everyone has bacon. Like, every nation that eats pork, at least, would, yeah, whatever, you know, bacon's good, so are baked beans, you know, like, what if we could have beans, legumes, but also sweet? I don't understand why these are even slightly controversial or slightly non-accepted concepts. But they are. But in the same way, yeah, I'm not the most religious person. But yeah, Christmas is a religious holiday, right? And yeah, here I am enjoying it anyway. And it's funny because I thought about this one a few times, that Christmas isn't real. It's important to say this of basically everything, that like, yeah, anything that you like has, you know, especially a holiday though, has no actual significance. I always like to be clear that, especially for people who, you know, aren't in the best of situations and they're like, man, also, let's, I don't want to get rid of that torch over there. We'll place the torch on the side of that, I guess, instead, and then just deepslate that up. It'll add a little bit of texture to the mountain, if nothing else. But, you know, Monday is not real. You know, Let's Play Monday has been happening every Monday. It's just only been happening on the real Mondays. And I hate to tell you, but there hasn't been a real Monday in a while. We'll talk about the Let's Plays at some point, don't worry. I wanna have a big conversation about that. But also look at that. It looks so much better already. Just where the tiny bits of stone make the rest look more, you know, it makes it look clearer what we're doing in a bad way. So, the dude that Santa was based on was very real. Every other belief can't stay the same. Can't stay the same. I think though that, like, regardless of where the mythos itself is, Christmas isn't about that original thing. It's not about December the 25th, right? It's an emergent property. This happens in nature all the time, but it's like a human version of that, where you know, like every single bird in a flock just knows like two things. Like, one is that they hang out and they chill unless they you know, are wildly threatened, or they see another bird that's wildly threatened. And just that one behavior of like, if you see someone else panic, you panic. It's humans have this too, actually. Like, but you know, it's funnier in birds because everyone sees this all the time. When one bird gets scared, the entire flock does, and so you'll see this like crazy behavior where even though these birds are really, really basic robots, like they're not well programmed, honestly. But if you see like a pigeon fly, it makes all the other pigeons in a nearby area decide to do the same. They're like, ooh, what's he flying from? Must be serious. Better fly out there. And so just just two pieces of behavior can lead to this fascinating like phenomenon where within an instant they're all flying away. Or it can lead to, also look, I saved the gravel from falling, how nice. There's a whole bunch of other fun examples, I'm sure. You know, like ants. Just, you know, nature is filled with examples of things that happen because things happen. And your Christmas and any other holiday, your birthday is a phenomenon like that. Like, you get to choose what holidays you celebrate, but there is you know, like, even though you could choose to celebrate, you know, what's your favorite holiday? Rhubarb Day. It's a really good fruit. If you don't know rhubarbs, it might be a poisonous stem actually, but it's a poisonous stem that I enjoy eating. So, you know, today is National Rhubarb Day. I can say that all I like, and if you've ever been on the internet, you've seen one of these dumb days, like, just so you know, everyone, it's National Redhead Day, or people will be like, oh, it's International Men's Awareness Day, and like these are all made up concepts, you know, and it's really clear when you see a made up concept like, well, it's National Beetroot Day, or it's National Go Punch Your Barber in the Nuts Day. Like, everyone looks at those and they see like, well, that's silly, right? Even if you agree that it might be that day, what does it mean to you? And that's where Christmas is. It is in the exact same category, with the only exception being there is a critical mass of holiday media, of holiday culture, and of other people celebrating it. Oh, that's going to be a pain to do underneath these sides, but we got to do it. That's when you reach this critical mass of you know, like people where it becomes much more real. When everyone believes that it's National Beetroot Day, wow, all of a sudden there are beetroot themed desserts. You know, maybe let's take another fruit just as a crazy, unbelievable example. Pumpkins, you know, they're really bad. I've never enjoyed a pumpkin. I like pumpkin flavored things because they're different, but most of the pumpkin things I like are flavored like pumpkin spices, which, as I understand it, aren't flavored like pumpkins. They're just a set of spices that you need for pumpkins because pumpkins suck so bad. But yet, National Pumpkin Day, or pumpkin season, is basically a thing, despite being kind of made up and just like a weird holiday, because if enough people believe something, that thing becomes true. You know, our entire financial system, our entire legal system works off that principle. Like, have you ever tried committing a crime? No one catches you for it. There is a tiny chance you will be. But if everyone commits a crime all at the same time, like that's how mass protests work. You can't put everyone in prison. All of these systems work. They work for the opposite reason, actually, because they only work when not enough people do them. Legal, like the legal system works on the basis that you won't. Celebrating Toy Cat Day, totally real holiday. Everyone should celebrate. It is in fact Toy Cat Tip Day. I mean, you could say, whenever I do the silly, my favorite like once a year stream are the ones where it's like, if you tip, I do X, because it's led to some very strange outcomes before. I have one of those planned, by the way, for this streammas, if you're excited. It involves desert wells. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. But yeah, no, every holiday is just as made up as every other holiday. The only difference is whether you believe in the made up. And that's honestly true for a lot of knowledge. Like there are some fields of sciences where there are objective truths. Like, well, maths is pretty, 1 + 1 doesn't equal 3 if we all say it makes 3, unless we redefine maths entirely, you might assume. But at the same time, you can't. There's no such thing as the square root of -1. Like, try and think that right now. Like, the square root of 1 is 1 because 1 times 1 is 1, and the square root of any minus number is. Wait, you can't get the. No, there's no such thing as you can't square any number to get minus because 2 negatives equal a positive. They cancel out. So there's no such thing as square root -1. But yet we will into existence, just for the sake of maths, I, right? The letter I means this. It's a made up number that it could never exist in real maths. But by creating it, it allows us to do interesting things. And in the same way, by creating a holiday where we all agree to celebrate, we get this fun time of the year that just has a feeling. Like it's so strange to me because, again, as someone who like. I like to be a realist in as many aspects of life as you might imagine. Also, let's use the pickaxe to break this, because then we'll get cobbled Deepslate back, which is actually useful. See? Look at that. Switch out from your Silk Touch pickaxe to a not Silk Touch pickaxe. You'll have a good time. Math's bad. Also, I think I'm going to have to climb this and break those blocks off too now. But, yeah, but what about holidays that are based on natural events, i.e. solstices? See, but even then, so that's why I was saying, like, I love the vibe of Christmas. It's because of the culture I grew up in, etc., etc. I do love the vibes. Like, I get happy feelings from, like, like a blurry light on, like, a dark day and, like, like a Christmas tree covered in snow. All this imagery, like wearing a Santa hat. I'm getting some positive vibes from this, right? Even though this is just a hat that is red and white and has a bobble on. The fact that it is not real does not make it any less interesting. Does not make it any less comforting, soothing, perhaps we might say. Yeah, it's crazy to me how many fake things become real things, and the Christmas is just one of them. But I also want to say that as an important note that if you maybe you have some bad experiences of Christmas. It's up to you whether you want to redefine them or not. But ultimately, it means it works the other way too. That if you don't want to like Christmas, if you want Christmas to not exist, you're a step ahead of the game. It doesn't exist. There is no universal Christmas that exists. Also, now let's take a look at this. Let's give it a peek. Looks pretty good besides this side, which could really do with a hand, I think. Okay, I should not have. Oh, also there's some blocks here anyway, so falling down was good. Yeah, I think that the best thing you'll realize about society as you age is how many things that seem entirely non-negotiable. Because any made-up social construct that makes it to Christmas level or pumpkin season level. By the way, we don't really have, like, we're importing the American version of pumpkin season. I'm guessing because you guys have Thanksgiving, but like it's not a thing for me. Nothing about winter fall season, it's not. We don't even call it fall. We call it autumn. But nothing about the fall, the autumn season, signifies pumpkins to me. I don't eat pumpkins any time of year because pumpkins aren't good any time of year. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. If you haven't come to accept that, that's fine. But look at me. I'm being like a Grinchy, like, ooh, I don't like pumpkin season. And yet that's, you know, like, I can believe that. And you can believe that that is also awful, because you get to pick your constructs. Whether anyone else is going to agree with you on those is a different question. Damn it, we almost did that. Whether everyone else, like, agrees with you and says, like, actually, you're right, or actually, you're wrong. That's something you don't get to decide. You don't get to decide how people believe your perception of the things that they believe. But you do get to say that, like, actually, man, yeah, Christmas makes me sad. There's no Christmas for you. What is it? It's a day on a month that happens every year, except, you know, the very concept of days is a little over the top. Ate an entire pumpkin last night. So, sorry, wait, last month. That makes a lot. That's a lot more reasonable, David Solomon. You know, last night would be a lot, huh? The pumpkin is associated with harvest. Squash and pumpkins are harvested later in the growing season. You know, that's true. By the way, this is from last Let's Be episode. I figured I'd keep this here. There's just something appealing about this to me. Just like lots of little squares of different blocks that keep things away. I might cover this entire thing that way. You've persuaded we need more social constructs. I think the world is filled with them. It's just, you know, like, there's only a few that make it to this, like, endlessly big level where even if you don't believe in them, they're real. You know, I think of an example of one that more people should agree with, though, is karma. If everyone genuinely believes that by doing something bad to someone else, it's not just that you'll feel bad, because we all have this... That's something quite wonderful about humans, is... one of the things that stops us from doing monstrous things all the time. Because, you know, although there are some people doing that, most people generally want to do good. And I think it's because we feel awful if we don't do good. I think if you don't feel bad when you do bad things to other people, I'm, you know, like, happy for you. Congratulations. But, like, in general, people feel very bad when they're... Also, this is my big Deepslate in the Nether. I think it's a fun contrast, personally. But, yeah, I think that we are really good at making social constructs, and we have so many of them you can opt into. But yeah, if we went like a step further and we said, yeah, if you do a bad thing to someone, bad thing's definitely going to happen to you. Even, like, eventually that just, like, is a self-fulfilling prophecy, because, you know, if everyone believes it, now they're doing good to cancel out their bad, and now, you know, then the amount of good and bad would roughly equal out, at least for all the people who believe in it, and then even most of the people who don't. Also, by the way, now my Deepslate project idea. Okay, so this is my Nether tunnel, right? You are all familiar with it? It's a nice tunnel in my opinion. Do you like my tunnel? Say nice things about my tunnel. Actually, this might be the best section. So this section right here is kind of out in the open. It's like not fully, it's like a cave, you could say. I figured it might be fun to like Deepslate up one of these sections. It might be better to do it closer to the base, actually. Like, in the middle of the tunnel is a nice spot to do it and all. But we can make like a big cube around this, maybe. Where the Nether fortresses are, that might be a really fun idea too. But yeah, I wanna cover part of my Nether and Deepslate, just because I think it would look a little jarring, and I like the idea of jarring. Your tunnel is so long. Yeah, this. Bear in mind, internet, if you haven't seen the streams, it's a 9-part stream series now. It's over 20 hours of mining. The amount of just pickaxe to Netherrack we've done here is really a little bit crazy. Just a little bit crazy. Convert a Nether fortress to Deepslate tiles. Oh, that's a good idea, Flash. I'm gonna write that down right now. Nether fortress, Deepslate tiles. Okay, real quick, while we look at this, let's go. I need to make sure I don't lose that. Okay. Nether fortress, deep tiles. Okay, I had to be quick there. But I think that's such a fun like idea. Like, I think a Nether fortress would already look interesting enough if you converted it to like red tile, red Nether brick, I guess. But yeah, I think you can go a step further than even that. You're right.
You have a great tunnel.
Thank you for complimenting my tunnel, David. You know, my big cavernous hole has been complimented many times, but never in such a wonderful way. I do appreciate that. Okay, so now we're gonna. I think we need to. Maybe one of these like out here in the open bits. Like, it's up high, near the wall. I think where the big Netherrack endless wall is, the least appealing bit of it. we'll take and we'll convert to Deepslate. Over here, maybe? Yeah, this little side mountain. I think. Oh no, it's got a. See, I haven't scouted out an area yet, internet. So we're gonna decisively pick one. But since this is a lot of Deepslate to place, I want to make sure I pick a good one. Yeah, I think it should be somewhere that we fly around or over or through a lot. Also, there's too many ghasts on Bedrock. Can we all agree on that? After playing Java, I didn't even realize. Okay, just let's go. I didn't even realize what a difference it makes. I want to go 0.15 blocks deep in your tunnel. Wow, that is a very shallow intrusion you'd like to make. So yeah, I think. Also, look at that. Oh no. Actually, yeah, let's take the soul sand. There's this. I got this big old valley over here. Okay, let's keep flying past. Keep ignoring all of this. So this is made from blackstone, which is very different to Deepslate, I have to admit. But what if we took a nearby area, like right over here, and made it out of Deepslate? I mean, it would look like this isn't doing anything as Netherrack. It's kind of dull. It's missing a lot. So we'll use the side texture. I mean, the top looks a bit more organic. Yeah, from the side, it's not that noticeable though. We'll use the top texture. You know what? Let's go with it. And we're gonna cover this little area. We're gonna try and like scope it out right now. We're gonna cover it in Deepslate just to see how this little tunnel looks after that. Doing ceilings is like a big pain, but we got scaffolding. It's fine. Also, I love you, sir. Greetings from the Netherlands. Thank you very much for the greetings. It's good to see you. This is a Let's Play live, so I will be doing slightly less chat interaction here than normal because I think it's about. For a lot of people, these are about opportunities to like have a discussion with me, not listen to a discussion between me and someone else. That's like a balance in live streams you have to reach sometimes. Like the balance between, it's a balance in every discussion is also like about how much are you talking about yourselves versus how much are you talking about greater ideas. I think that's something a lot of people lack because we need to talk. We need to have this like social function of let's chat, let's catch up. And, you know, like, knowing about each other is really important for social structures. But I also think something that every human craves on some level is, like, let's talk about deeper, like, the deeper meaning behind why we're here today. Not at this coffee shop. Why we are in existence today. Why am I alive? What is it that brings me to wake up every day and eat? If it's just being biologically existing, why do I feel so much pain? You know, all these like really big questions. I think like you need to think about them every now and then, because you know if you don't think about, I don't know, something that always comes up to me is the idea of heaven, right? It's again I guess if it's Christmas, you know, what does the Christ in Christmas mean? Probably the Christ from the one religion, maybe you know that's it is, yeah. By the way, isn't it fun that you can turn Christ into X? So like Xmas. Maybe you didn't know. Maybe you don't think that's fun. Maybe you do. I think the only thing. Also, I think I'm gonna finally use up all my Deepslate. Heck yeah, it's all gone now. Yeah, is this Deepslate actually? No, we're finally getting rid of the last bits of it. And then we can start using the cobbled Deepslate, which is actually useful. That's what I love to see. But yeah, there's a little bit of a religious link there. This is my rhubarb beverage, by the way. It's absolutely delicious. Rhubarb is not celebrated enough. We need to have National Rhubarb Day, where we can all... Honestly, if you ever looked at rhubarb the plant, you'd realize quickly why you don't like it. But see, surface level conversation is important about why rhubarbs are great, because you need to know, like, oh yeah, what's you know, like, I haven't tried a rhubarb before. Next time I see one, I'll know that someone that I hope, you know, someone that you know. I'd hope that you trusted me, but let's just say you know me. Let's not infer your trust into me. Someone I know likes rhubarb, I'll give it a try. And, you know, maybe you hate it and you're like, oh, that guy has bad taste. But at the very least, you'll know that it's not something no one likes. It's something someone likes. So having that's good. Having like a catch up on like what's going on. Like, hey Toy Cat, what's going on in your world? And it's like, oh yeah, so I've been going through some stuff. Been my entire like you know, like where I'm living plan has changed. You know, visa relationship issues, visa and relationship issues have resulted in some drastic like changes as to what the next year of my life will look like, what the next 2 years of my life will look like, and then by knock-on effect, what the rest of it will look like. You know, I'm having to redraft the plan for my, and that's a big thing to do.
Electric Pulse back with a new name, still evading toy cat tax like a G, as one should. It's been a while, Lamau. No bidding war today though. Too broke for that. How's everyone been?
It's good to see you, Impulse Man. It's been a while. Everyone loves the. It's been a while since it came up. This is a Let's Play live. It's funny the exact like timing of that proves the point about like where chat interaction can get in the way of like, you know, it's the same as like, okay, I'm gonna go deep and explain like, okay, so here's where it all went wrong in my life and blah 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 blah. And then the barrister, and then like a waitress comes over and they're like, hey, how's it going? So the specials today are turnip soup and I don't know the other ones actually. There's another soup though. Do you want the other soup? And then you're like, I'm ordering, I'm fine. It's like, well, have a pumpkin-filled day. Yeah, it's a hard like Did Visa break up with you? I can relate, says Dasher. See, that's a fun reference if you live in Russia, I guess, because of their lack of payment facilities from international brands. But no, there is a real there's a real like need to like see what's going on with people around you. Maybe you found that interesting. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you like the update into my life. Maybe you're like, Toy Cat, let's not talk about life. Let's talk about Minecraft. You know that game you're playing? You know, why haven't you referenced, you know, the Bosnian genocide yet? That's kind of messed. You know, like everyone has their own wills and wants from a conversation like that. But I think everyone gets something out of the idea of like, let's just discuss paradise. You know, like, because paradise is one of the scariest concepts in the world to me. I've referenced this before, but the base religion is always, so here is how we encourage people to do bad and good. If you do good, you go to the really good place forever. If you do bad, you go to the bad place forever. Why is it forever? I mean, we can't know the intent of people thousands of years ago when they created or you know saw these meanings, but you can presume, you can make a informed guess that the reason it's forever is because on a human level, that is the most you can comprehend. How can you comprehend a life that is longer than, and anything that is longer than forever? If you want to make suffering better, you say, well, it's going to end soon. But what about suffering that is eternal? That's the worst thing, right? And so how do you make something good better? Well, if I said to you, you can drive my my Lamborghini, which I definitely have, because, you know, just Minecraft YouTubers definitely will have Lamborghinis, trust me. I mean, I don't own any car, but, you know, if I did, it might be a Lamborghini. I mean, it wouldn't be. Honestly, I bet there's a ton of reasons not to own a Lamborghini. But anyway, so, yeah, if I let you drive my Lamborghini, which is obviously a good thing, I mean, they must be good cars or people wouldn't want to own them, right? But you'd be like, wow, that's fun. But if I said you can have my Lamborghini, drive it as much as you like, you'd be like, whoa. And if I said, this Lamborghini's yours now, you can like it's your, you can have it forever if you want. I'll even pay for the servicing. You'd be like, whoa. Where's the Lamborghini fund? 100% of the tips from this live stream will go straight into my Lamborghini. You know, to compensate for the fact that it's a Let's Play live, we'll use the tips from the, we'll use the money from the tips. Very appreciated, by the way. And we'll use those to fund my Lambo purchase. Clearly, that's what we've got to do. We've made huge steps up from the jet ski fund, followed by the 1000 Air fund. Now we've got just that. By the way, okay, got a little fraud alert thing. It's all good. It's fine. It's an old thing that yeah. So I think like that's why that's the reason I would theorize that we have eternal suffering and eternal good. To make the worst thing possible so that people would want to do good, You say it's forever, and to make the best thing possible, so that people don't want to do bad, you make it also forever. And honestly, for most people, they don't think about what forever means besides a really long time. And a really long time of anything is like great, right? It's good. Everyone loves good. Everyone loves everyone loves the idea of like, well, it's indefinite is wonderful, right? But forever is scary, and I want to talk about how like even the idea of like heaven is a little bit spooky as far as I'm concerned. Also, thank you, John the Fox. I appreciate the tip. You know, you are the waitress bringing me a rhubarb-based drink. Probably quite a few actually, at £8.21. Really appreciate it. Also, thank you for using Streamlabs. It's good to see you today. But yeah, there is a real fear to me about the idea of forever. Infinity is a weird topic. Yeah, and infinity just doesn't work on the human scale. Even 100 years, the like, you know, top end roughly of a human lifespan, is so long once you really dive into it, right? Every year is 365 days. Every day is 24 hours, and then 100 of those. Oh, that's so much. But then go a step crazier and say, what if it was 100 of those 100? Then say 100 of those 100. Then say 1,000,000 of those 100 of the 100 of the hundreds of 365 days, and then you haven't even scratched the surface of forever, because you know that is 0%. What I just described is 0% of forever. You could go through all of that, and you would be, you know, no closer to the end than when you started. Like it's scary. Working on really big Minecraft projects can be scary in that way, right? Because you're like, oh, there is nothing. There is, you know, like I'm not making any tangible, like, you know, working on something small like this little Deepslate corner. It's cool. I started it a few minutes ago, and here I am now. Like I've made a bit of the Nether look like it's a cave in the overworld. That's cool. I made a difference. I'm happy that I made a difference. Whereas, you know, when it comes to the idea of like an endless something, you're not gonna make a difference. You're gonna be there forever, and it's still gonna be like the day you started. And yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it's just like, you know, for most people you don't think about it too hard, but I think it is worth discussing. I think it's almost like a good thing to discuss, like, because you know it came up in a pretty good show. There's this show called The Good Place, and they kind of use like a Buddhist methodology that's like, well, there is this good place, and then like blah 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 blah, and then eventually people start going to this good place forever, and it takes them a really long time, but people get bored of it. People get really 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 bored of this foreverness. They're like, we need something. And you know, and if you've ever been on a holiday, a vacation, you might already know this after like a week. Like these vacation places are designed to be the most appealing idea possible, the thing people dream of all year long. But after long enough, everyone who goes to one is like, well, this was cool, but like I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to get back to doing stuff, and you know, and which in a way is funny, because you know, like the stereotype of a job is like, well, work is the suffering we do to make money to do things we want to do.
Would you be unhappy with an endless supply of fried chicken?
See,
also,
there's a
fried chicken fun.
There's a difference between an endless supply of fried chicken and saying here is an infinite amount of fried chicken. Because if you say that, if you know, having a saying I have a card where anytime I want I can get more fried chicken, that's great. That's indefinite chicken. That's chicken until, fried chicken until I die. If you say, you will have to eat that infinite amount of chicken. Because it's rude to turn down a gift, right? If I'm gifting you infinite chicken, you better be eating that infinite chicken, right? That is scary, right? Imagine trying to eat an infinite amount of food. You eat, and then it doesn't go away. And then you sit there and you wait, and you eat, and it doesn't go away. It's, the only time I'd be happy is if you could ignore the chicken and it'd still be in good shape. But you know, where would you even store the? Yeah, it all breaks down very quickly. There is a real deep horror hidden below the idea of everything that a few places actually like deal with, like the the idea of it is quite a scary one, really. Once you once you start thinking about it more than a little bit, it's like, so there's no way out. Yeah, there's no way out. You are forever stuck to that. And then if you think about that even more, the finality of it all, the irrevocable nature, it starts to feel a bit like, you know, North Korea. It's a prison you cannot escape. Except, you know, at least with North Korea, you know what you can do if you want to escape it so badly. You end your life. You end your life. It's not ideal. It's a crime, no doubt. But what can North Korea do when it's, oh no, what are they gonna be slightly mad of me? Are they gonna try and, are they gonna, like, you know, have a criminal court try me after I'm dead? Yeah, they might, but also I'm gonna, like, just patch up the back of this cave here, just so there's like a natural end. But you know, you're out of it. The problem is solved as far as you are concerned. But you can't do that. Again, like in hell, that's the scary thing, right? Is that you? But in heaven too, like if you were in endless paradise, there would be no way out. You would be stuck in paradise forever, and that's scary. I want to say that's like you know, not what I would like is a endless obligation of joy. Yeah, again, it's like the endless holiday. But like, unlike a holiday, there'd be anything you want there. But what if, you know, like after an endless amount of anything, you might get done. I always say that, like, Minecraft is the one game that you could, like, last with longer than any other game. If you were gonna go on like a desert island or something, you'd want to bring Minecraft because it's a game that has longevity to do whatever you want. Like, Minecraft is limited by the human mind, and so compared to, I don't know, Need for Speed Most Wanted, one of my favorite teenager games, where you're done once you have beaten the Elite 15. You know, unlike Need for Speed, you also I want to have like somewhere through here to get out, but I guess we'll just cover this up for now, work it out later. Unlike those games, you also, I'm gonna remove this Nevrack and then place Deepslate down here because it'll look kind of weird otherwise. Unlike in those games, it's as limited as your idea creation is, right? And that's really, really cool. That's actually quite a wonderous, magical, almost idea. But then, you know, you realize that if you were playing Minecraft for an infinite amount of time, you would run out of ideas yourself. Like, how many different things can I want to build? You know, you know, some people say like, oh, Toy Cat, you ran out of ideas. They use that when referring to videos because they're like, this is not a video idea I would like. But you know, if you saw me build for 24 hours straight, you would think the same thing. I ran out of good ideas that I can reasonably execute on. And then after I ran out of ideas that I can execute any amount on, then what? And the answer is insanity. That's why the Minecraft community exists. That's why it's one of the best communities out there. One of the most vibrant and alive communities there is for a video game is because it's almost just a community of people, of doing stuff that is enjoyable. And how can that not be an ideal community for some people? So hell and heaven is oblivion is the real heaven. Is this the real answer? No, the answer is that like there is, like, you know, like I think actually a lot of so again, like The Good Place and a lot of, like, you know, like Eastern style like things will come to the conclusion that, yeah, being dead is the only way out. You know, like, that's a good way to come to terms with your own death, I think, is like, wow, that's at some point, even if you had an eternal amount of time, you'd be praying for it. Like, you know, in shows where the main character has immortality, do you know how depressing it is, like, watching every person you love and have ever known die? I don't know, because it's not happened to me. But it must be depressing being like, you'll find someone who is perfect for you, you'll outlive them by, and you know, like thousands and thousands of years. It's a little bit dark to me. I'm gonna put some cobbled Deepslate just around this, just to see if it's even noticeable. I think you can spot the difference quite easily. So yeah, this is where I put my my Deepslate. I think it's a nice little touch, just a little Deepslate filled area. I think it's nice personally. But yeah, I think the idea of being like eternal, immortal, is a little bit of a spooky one. It's a little bit of a spooky one. I think that most Eastern philosophies argue that death isn't the end, though. The solution to suffering is to break the cycle of death and rebirth. Yeah, that's another point of like, the only true way to be like happy is to almost like forget, right? And that's if you think about it that way. If you want to try and like come at, because again, I don't believe any of this is true. If I had to make the best guess about what happens after life, I would say that you die and then you are not alive anymore. That's the only reasonable. Not reasonable. I think that's unfairly dismissing people's views, but that's I think the most logical individual outcome is you're gone and then you're gone. But like if you think about it as like, well, yeah, if you had eternal joy, eventually you would want out of that. And something about, but if you knowing that you have that way out of everything is also troubling by itself, then what if you could have the answer to eternal joy, but with all the problems solved that make it so horrifying? What if you could have? I shouldn't put this so like down in the center of the tunnel. I have this area here specifically for this reason. Now I'm going to place regular cobbled deep slate. By the way, very versatile block. Can use it to make nether fortresses out of deep slate tile if you want. Can also use it to make big tunnels in the nether, which we're going to do now, because in the last Let's Play, I didn't quite finish connecting these bits up. It takes a long time, and so we can do it right now, I reckon. But yeah, the real solution is like, well, if there is a omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, if there is a being with greater power, they have one of their powers is going to be the ability to make it okay. That's cool, right? That's what everyone has wanted since birth. It's like someone who makes things okay. If the longer you can believe that your parents are all powerful and make things okay, probably the happier a life you have. Unless you go far too deep in there and you're like 35 and getting into problems that you still have to have your parents bail you out of. But probably, probably true that mostly true that the longer you do that thing for, the better you're gonna work out. But okay, I need to use a secondary block. We'll use dirt for now. Especially like place these on the side. Also, this is the worst. I don't like you guys. I want that. No, not the glass. Seriously, you know what? These guys are the worst. Cannot deal with them. Cannot deal with them. But yeah, I think that's like the easy way out. If you were to say that, like, okay, the only way is to forget the life from before you, then that's how you could arrive at the like reincarnation belief if you wanted to. The least cruel thing to do to a human would be to make them forget their previous lives. The least cruel thing to do to a mind, a soul, if you want to go like that. It's kind of funny to me, the idea of a soul, because like it's always seen as like such a obvious thing in like every, you know, like especially media, but like a lot of people lean into this idea of souls. Because there has to be something about us that's special. We can't just be a bag of bones and meat and, you know, whatever else. Something about that just doesn't feel right to people. People don't like the idea that you're not special in some way, because you've got to be. Yeah, you spend so much of your life either being told you're special or like just, you know, something is unique about us. If it wasn't, why are we working so hard? We're not doing this, you know, we would hate to believe that, like, one of the things that scares people about extraterrestrial life is if there is a capable of, if there is a, that was a bad hit. If there is a species out there capable of reaching us and of being here without us detecting them, they're probably a lot more advanced than us, you know, as far as to them, we are as far below them on the tech tree and in the level of, like, you know, evolution as like an ant is to us, like or, you know, maybe even lower than that. Like at least an ant can do clever, effective things if you try to. Maybe an alien species is like, really? You still need electricity to power your stuff. You don't know how to tap into the power of the universe? I believe the same way our body rejoins the matter of the universe, our solar spirit rejoins the God Force. We don't stop existing, but we do, and we come back. Right, that's the only way to escape the problem of forever. And you know, happy for you that you got one that works for you. I'm not special unless you use the term special needs, lol. You shouldn't. You know, I'll use the term. Actually, I don't know if I. You know, that's not the hill I'm gonna die on. I'm gonna side skip that one. Just tap into the power of the universe, bro. I mean, it's right there. Have you not noticed the universe is in front of us? We're all using the universe right now, and you haven't even noticed how to use its power. Oh man, and then so I bet you guys wait. You guys kill each other still? Are you one species or are you? What's the deal with that? Like you know, like imagine if you know, because this is actually what happened when superior when superior militaries came into contact with, you know, less superior ones. The simplest technique that was always used is this idea of like make them fight each other. The reason that like I don't know the reason some very large countries were taken over by some very tiny ones is not just because like, well, they had so many more guns or whatever. It's because they had the power of dividing people to conquer people. It's a crazy thing when you think about it. You know, I don't know, like there's a lot of modern day equivalents, I'm sure, that you can come up with and have some fun with. But yeah, so we're going to slowly expand the tunnel, by the way. This is not the most efficient way to do it, but it's the most enjoyable. And I think that's going to be okay for today. Just slowly work our way around, block by block by block by block, until we have a full ring. Anyway, speaking of having a full ring, so I guess we actually should jump down, then do the rest out this way. Yeah, there we go. I think initiating character development. Also, what's the difference between a human and an artificial neural network configured in exactly the same pattern as a human brain? It's the soul, obviously. What is a soul? Can't be measured. If it can't be measured, then you can't prove a computer has it. Therefore, that's the difference. No, yeah, we're gonna have to have the debate about whether you know, imagine a toaster, right? A toaster that has artificial intelligence. So fully, it's just a toaster. So like, or it uses the artificial intelligence to work out like, hi, how are you doing? I want to ask you some preferences about your toast. And then it uses those preferences about your toast and works out like, oh yeah, well, you're having a bad day today. I figure you want some, I'm gonna prepare the toast for you. I've got bread, I'm attached to a bread machine. I'm gonna prepare bread for when you get home. I'm gonna you know, it's got some smart features, and it uses artificial intelligence to do that. So now imagine this toaster that's really, really smart says, you know, like, please kill me. Imagine the toaster says that. Are you obliged to listen to it, or can you ignore it because it is your inferior, right? Your subordinate. You bought the toaster. You're not gonna kill your own toaster. That'd be a grand waste of money. And then you write it off. You go, well, the toaster's not really like, and the toaster's like, I am intelligent life like you. Is the toaster intelligent because it can say it has intelligent life? Because right now we can program a toaster to answer the question, are you intelligent, with yes. We can program a toaster to you know, to like answer a lot of the questions, but that doesn't make it smart. In the same way that like I don't know, if you've got if you've got like a motor neuron disease, you're not learning anything new. You're not, you know, like you're not able to. But yet you have these like weird patterns of things in your brain, so you can still do a surprising amount that you wouldn't expect from someone like that. And so yeah, here's the question, right? Is like I ain't listening to machine point blank. I'll pull my own life support if I damn well please. I'm just saying, like, is the machine's wishes, are the machine's wishes valid if it's intelligent? And if you say no, then there's an interesting question about why. Just because the humans created it? Because I'll give you I'll skip you a step here and say, did you know humans created other humans? Like, you might not have been created in a lab purposefully by someone. You were probably created by two people having a little bit too much fun, and then going, oh no, oops. And then 9 months later, you pop out of there. Like that's, you know, like even though you were created by, you know, like you were created by accident, let's say. Maybe, well, at the very least, you weren't very deliberately designed. Maybe is the difference there, but you were created. You know, make no mistake about that. You have creators, right? And you don't owe them anything. Is probably what you believe. Maybe you think you owe your parents something, but you don't owe them everything. If your parents say, you will work on a beet farm because I need money to pay for my gambling addiction, you would probably say no. I mean, I don't know you. I'm not gonna pre-assume your response to your parents' gambling problem. But I would guess you would say, no, I am free. We literally do have an unplanned baby in chat. That's a good point. That's a good point, Dash. You know, at least one person acknowledges it. What about the rest of you? I didn't choose to be created either, and I'm adopted, says Rose Pentagio. Wait, Pentagle? What is a Pentagle? You know what? I'm never gonna know the answer to that, and that's okay. But yeah, I think that there's a real question about like what rights do if something isn't intelligent as a human and it's able to communicate as such, what rights does it have? Like, why do humans have rights? Why do it seems like such a ridiculous question. It seems like that's like fascism light you're talking about right there. But why do we grant people rights? It's like so many things in the world we teach people as just that is inherently how it goes. We do, yeah, people have this because we have this, and oh man, unpleasant. And I don't think that's actually useful for talking about rights. The reason we have rights is not because, oh yeah, we all get this really good feeling when we all get this really good feeling from. Also, he destroyed a piece of my blue ice. Man, I hate them. This is why I need these walls to be finished as soon as they can be. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna get up here, work on this little step, and then move back down. Yeah, we like rights are just manners, says Mad582. I think that's such an interesting like way to put it, because yeah, we have rights because we like to be nice to each other. But the real deeper reason we have rights is because we know that if you don't give like it's morally wrong to, you know, like, I don't know, have people live without rights is the way we'll say it. And yeah, that's the pat yourself on the back version. It's like, why do you pay taxes? Oh, I just really believe in supporting my country's infrastructure. So, oh yeah, pay more taxes than you're legally obliged to. You can do that in the UK and the US at least. There is a page on the government website where they say, want to give us money? We'll take it. Please, you know, tip the government, you know? And they do make a little bit of money each year, but it's equivalent of like, you know, it's less than a penny a person or something. It's a really, 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 really tiny amount of people who decide to give the government money because they think it's so good. Instead, the reason you do it is because, like, well, I go to prison if I don't pay taxes, and you know, like, it's kind of easier to than to not. I don't want to be a bad person, etc., etc., etc. And the same reason we have human rights. Like, we tell ourselves, because, like, well, humans are just so good, we're so intellectually big-brained, and, you know, so morally advanced as a species, that the reason that we create a heaven, we create rights. Got a little went a topic back there. You know, we created heaven so that humans could be tortured eternally, is maybe what I would assume. But yeah, no, we're just so morally good and wonderful that we created rights because we want to, you know, like, humans shouldn't live without them. And it's like, no, the reason we have rights is because people without them eventually do some bad things. And also, people with free, like, we've worked out, people with free agency generally can be more effective than people without. It's like the idea of, like, you know, slave labor isn't actually effective, and it also isn't free. Also, thank you so much, Dan Hughes. Appreciate the 10 memberships. Glad you're liking the stream today. I think listening to Pigstep in the Nether makes a ton of sense. But yeah, it's something important to say that we've tried the idea of like unpaid labor seems real good to some people. I'm sure that's something a lot of people get down with. Like, yeah, wow, I hate that I have to pay these people minimum wage. I would love if they worked for free and then had to work for yes, but actually, if you know, like, you can't have someone work for free. If someone works for free, they don't make the money that they need to pay for themselves to live. And then either, you know, in our best case scenario, they go somewhere else where they do get money to work. Or in a worst case scenario where they're forced to work for you, they can't get money via governmental programs or anything else like that, they die. And so all these years of like, you know, food and effort and whatnot to get someone to working age, they're all wasted. They're all entirely wasted if you They're all entirely wasted if you just let someone die. Which, pro tip, wasting not good. That's a crazy one for you, but it's true. So yeah, the way to place these blocks. No, it's easy to place upwards that way. So we're gonna do. If we place down a torch on every other sea of that, we can do like this. Using torches as a way to place blocks diagonally. Big pro tip in my opinion. Do. Yeah, we also no. Oh, not again. Do. We have rights not as a way to feel good, not because we're so wonderful. We have them because honestly, if you look at human rights, right? So human rights are granted by the United Nations Charter, the founding charter. It's what there's a charter on human rights. Also, thank you so much, Darren Hughes, for gifting 10 members. You know what? When we hit 1,000, I don't even know what the goal is, but 1,000 is a big milestone coming up. Well, I mean, I say it's coming up, but we're basically there already. You know, hopefully during this delightful month we can hit it, huh? I love it when ice is on fire. Yeah, it is a bit weird that the thing that destroys the ice is not the Nether, the fiery world rim, but that. Yeah, I think that the way you have to understand basically all human history is all these things happen in people's humans' interest. Like, the reason that, you know, okay. The reason America got its independence is not because, like, wow, it's just so morally virtuous and great and wonderful to... It's like, well, actually, it's better for the... It was better for the US in the long run to become independent, and it wasn't important enough for the UK to stop it because, you know, like, we were busy dealing with other things. And then after the US was independent, it was very... And it's like, yeah, you can make these great speeches about, like, well, the US is independent because freedom is more important than tyranny and blah, 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 blah. But really, it's like, wow, it's independent because it... You know, like, if you want to go even a layer simpler, it's like, it's independent because it did an independence thing. And the reason it wanted to do that is because of, you know, not liking these things that it didn't believe in. And the reason it didn't believe in those is, you know, like, it's too easy to skip a step of why something happens, as so is rhubarb. You know, the thing about rhubarb that people don't understand is it's just so delicious. It's just such a tasty fruit. I still don't know. Is it a fruit? Might just be a thing. Yeah, I think that the way we approach, like, basically everything is you can skip a lot of steps in how you learn about something by replacing the fact with an emotion. Like, oh yeah, why you know, why is it that Christmas hats are red with these little bubbles at the end, right? Or even why is Santa, why do we wear red hats for Christmas? Why does Santa have a red thing? And so, or like, you know, like, why do we gather around a tree? There's another good one. I think rights are like laws, and they exist for self-preservation. We give each other rights, and the expectation we'll receive those same rights. Yeah, there's no realistic. If you look at the UN Charter on Human Rights, there's a lot of, like, rights that we are granted that most people don't actually have. There are human rights granted by international law that most humans can't exercise. You know, that sucks. But it's because, yeah, well, we made those rights up as like an aspiration. It's like, you know, I imagine saying, oh yeah, well, in January I said I would lose 10 pounds. Why is it December and I haven't lost 10 pounds? It's like, well, you can't just, that's not how laws work. I mean, you can't just sign a law saying, we will, you got to actually do the thing after. That's the whole point of the, that's what you've actually got to do. But that's hard, you know, that's real, actually, like, you know, working out, like, for example, access to water. Everyone has the right to access water. And it's like, okay, what about places where you have a water bill, which is most of the world, and you don't pay that water bill? Should you still have access to water then? And it's like, yes. So everyone can just not pay their water bill? And it's like, well, no, there's implications for your credit. And it's like, so we're gonna hurt the rest of your life to give you access to water? And it's like, well, yeah, because it's not, if you're so desperate you need the water, then that's, and so it's saying like, okay, that's cool, I get you on that one. What about like the right to, you know, like, I don't know, like the right to the pursuit of happiness? And it's like, yeah, well, you can pursue that however you want, you know, like, well, what about the right to, like, you look at all of them, like, the freedom from persecution is one of the weirdest ones, because have you heard this story? It's about it was an Iranian climber who accidentally climbed without her headscarf on. She's from a country that's maybe known for being quite religious, and so her religious garment, she said it fell off, and so she climbed without it for the first time. And so when she went back home, you know, as you know, she was like obviously applauded for doing really well. But then they said, "Wow, it is good job on taking, you know, of accidentally losing this thing. By the way, you know how you accidentally lost your religious garment and made us look foolish on the world stage? Oh yeah, just unrelatedly, swear, entirely doesn't relate at all to that. We did look into the construction permits on your villa, and it looks like they weren't filed quite correctly. So we've had while you were gone, you'll love this. We had your family home destroyed because you filed the permits incorrectly. But like, you know, it's not because of that. that thing over there, unrelated. Yeah, you can do that. You can make mistakes all you like, but it looks like you've been making mistakes when it comes to construction permits too. Because yeah, now your house is gone, and oh, it looks like your brother's been doing some criminal acts. We had to arrest him. You know, unrelated. Like, just because it happened while you're on your way home, pure coincidence. We happened to be doing a routine check into your family members, but we just and I mean they broke the law, and it's like they didn't necessarily, you know, she did probably have some mistake in her construction filing. Like there probably was something that was incorrect there. There probably was something with her family members, but it's also like you know they have broken the law, but they're only being pursued because it's relevant for a particular thing. And it's like, well, how do you prevent that? Well, you can't really. That's like that. You know, like the idea of the law is a really messy one, because for every like crime that you make officially definitely not okay. Like, well, it is. Also, there's a lot of creepers out there, huh? Please don't blow me up. Even though it's really true that every law is in place for a reason, every law is only enforced at particular times. And so when you break a law, you know, like another example is there's the woman, the basketball player, I want to say, who went to Russia with some weed. She broke a law in Russia, right? It's really complex because the only reason they're pursuing her as heavily as they are is because she's from a country where, you know, the US has some feelings like maybe they Russia has some feelings that maybe they could get something in return. But she did do something objectively wrong by the country's standards. The idea of being trapped in that tunnel of gas terrifies me. Yeah, my gas proofing technique is these buttons. I place a ton of it's clearly missing some here. I place a ton of buttons down, and now that makes it so there's no spawnable surface. And so if you do this same tunnel design without that, gas will spawn on this, and you'll have a really, really bad time. Pro tip. You can watch my Let's Play episode on mob proofing if you want. It's funny, I get comments on those. I got some comments on it, like, yeah, this started being about mob proofing and then ended in a half-an-hour rant on whatever it was for the episode. And I like that personally. I thought that was I thought that was a lot of fun. Maybe just me. The gas are gas proofing the gas proof tunnel. The gas are gas proofing the gas proof tunnel. Yes, indeed they are. Yes, indeed they are. Have you seen the Iron Brew Christmas advert? I think it's a very you type of advert. Worth a watch by you. You're definitely getting my curiosity up. You're definitely getting my curiosity going. Okay, let's climb out via the Netherrack wreckage over here. Let's just climb over this. Maybe place these blocks. Yeah, I guess let's just like. Yeah, once we place the okay. Once we place these down, we'll have sealed off any opportunity for gas to get in. I should give it a watch. Sounds good, Polly. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna just place that there. Hope that doesn't happen again. Now we're gonna fly over because there's no other easy way without getting gasted. What is the tunnel's end destination? It goes to my 2 ancient cities. I've got 2 ancient cities next to each other. It's quite important to me, especially because I destroyed one, that they be connected to the rest of the world. And so that's the thing there, right? I think that there's a why would you try to take weed into Russia for places? But why would she do that? Yeah, that's the funny thing, right? Of like, ooh, when there's this human concept that we all love to say of like the punishment should fit the crime. And it works really easily for like, okay, well, a lot of countries have laws like if you steal bread in Switzerland, it is way less of a punishment than stealing anything else. Because stealing bread you don't do to enrich yourself. Usually, like you'd steal bread if in desperation. It's kind of sad because it means that like I guess a bakery probably has to be better protected, but whatever. In California, a theft under $1,000 is less bad than or $750. I forget the exact number. Is less bad than a theft over that amount. And so again, this is a really logical policy because like yeah, you shouldn't pursue a car thief or like someone who steals a paint, you know, I don't know, someone who steals something huge as in the same way that you treat someone who steals a Big Mac or someone who steals, you know, a bottle of shampoo because that's a bad example actually. They steal soap. There you go. That's a nice generic one. They want to be clean, but they cannot be clean, and so they have to steal. But yeah. So like obviously it's not good that they're stealing. It's not what you want to encourage. But you'd have to say they're different crimes. But then there's the funny knock-on effect of that, is that well now people I see these videos all the time of like people like just going into stores, walking out with the you know, like it's usually like it's weird the list of products they'll do it with, and I don't know how common it actually is. Again, I just see videos of it. I think yeah, if you see a video of something, it doesn't mean that every time, everywhere. But you know, like anecdotally, when you go to America now, the like Tide and all the laundry detergents are locked away because they're so commonly stolen that you have to like have someone come get them with you. And I don't know. I guess that means when there's a security guard in front of you, you're less likely to do it. Are you actually finding uses? Yeah, I'm making this beautiful tunnel. I think another use would be a pretty fun one, right? Is if we take the because Deepslate bricks look like they'd make a real nice like they've got like a stronghold vibe to them, right? They've got this like real nice. I think you could make something nice of that. Like we could have a stronghold room equivalent in the Nether using this. The only problem is you can't make a like. There's no. You can make cracked variants, but you can't make mossy variants. So it wouldn't look like a stronghold. I mean, I can show you right now what it would look like. Maybe we should have like this area here go into some deep slate bricks. Yeah, let's have as this is gonna be real ugly, but I want to do it anyway because this area isn't properly conjoined, kind of deliberately. What if I made it conjoined in a big old deep slate brick room? So I think these are like 7 by 13 the end portal room. So that would mean that it goes out here, goes all the way past all of this nonsense. And yeah, I don't know how many blocks high it is. I'd guess like 6 or 7. So then we'll stack up a little bit more. And we'll make like this fun little protection, almost. You know, I guess it'll remove some of the vision. But it'll be a lot of fun. So deep slate strongholds are a common idea. How about quartz? Do you mean like a quartz stronghold? Or deep slate? I think that what I built my stronghold from was endstone. I think that's a fun thing. No, we need mossy normal stone. One of the problems that Minecraft have kind of penned themselves into a corner with is like they add so many variants of blocks that now the variants of blocks they don't add look notably absent. It looks like a mistake. Whereas before you could just argue that's how Minecraft is. It's like, well, why do we have a version of like every other block? And there's no like conceivably great answer to why. So I guess we'll go even up here. Then we'll start like, we'll make like a little entrance over here. So do the same on this side. Stack, stack, stack. Stack, 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 stack. Yeah, that's good, I think. And then we'll just follow everything else to go around like that. And then we'll have a little deep slate stronghold room that we walk into to get between the obsidian and the Nether fortress. I think just a transition room might be really interesting. Just like a little bit of something in between the something else. But yeah, even something interesting about the Let's Play. Should we dive deep into this one? I don't want to talk about it fully right here, but there is a real pressure to get the right balance in content on YouTube, and it means that there's 2 types of content that are doing really well. One is like extra long, like this is the craziest, longest, like it took 5 times longer to make than a normal video. Hopefully you like it. But yeah, it's a thing, by the way. I got your cat's not here. I'm glad she let me. It's good she let me know. But there is this I need mossy deep slate. Yeah, exactly. That it's notably absent, even though like, you know, Mojang could have a really good reason. But if that reason isn't widely known, which it's not, it just looks like they made a mistake, or maybe even they're lazy, or maybe even you can come up with a lot of theories, I'm sure. Not a lot of them are largely complimentary though. So now we cover the floor of this. I think we'll use tiles for the floor actually. Again, it just kind of matches the vibe of the area. It really does look a lot like the Netherrack, huh? So yeah, I want mossy everything. You know, don't we all want mossy everything? Isn't that our problem? So yeah, I just add vines and glow lichen. Close enough. You know, yeah, if you put vines everywhere, it might look the same. You're basically right. You're basically right. So yeah, I think that on YouTube, longer form, shorter form and longer form content are doing better and better and better. Like the other, because there was this like while where the meta was like what, like a 12-minute video, a 13-minute, 40. It's like somewhere between like 8 to 10 or something like that. Like just over 10, so you get the extra ads. Just under, you know, whatever length. Just under 15, so you wouldn't be too long, that people wouldn't watch the whole thing. There was a while where that was like the thing that was done and blah blah blah. Whereas now there's a big push towards like super long and super short content. You've probably like even YouTube Shorts, they're up to a minute long, but now there's like way better promotion for YouTube Shorts that are less than a minute. If you're using a full minute, you're doing it wrong. That's how they want to kind of push it. In other words, hint hint, maybe a bit more like TikToks. Hint 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 hint. Which actually, you know, maybe is something fun to play around with. Like, I don't know how to make a 7-second video that has any amount of interest to anyone. Like, to me, a minute is like condensing down an idea into the smallest thing possible. Here is one idea presented in the most efficient way possible. I don't know how you'd make a 15-second informative video. Maybe you can't. Maybe you can only do entertainment in that time frame. Also, yeah, do I have my trident on me still? I don't. I could just fly up and kill the ghasts every time, I guess. Let's do that. Oh, no, we can't. Let's do that. So we're going to fly up and kill this one. And then from there, we're going to run down. Okay, so kill one. There was a second ghast. I definitely saw it. But not anymore, apparently. It's gone. I solved that problem right there. So, yeah, anyway, so... 15 seconds is more for fun. Yeah, right, that's the sort of video where you just whip out your phone, record something, and you're done. Like, but, you know, I'm sure the logic in the YouTube team is like, well, if it's really short like that, then more people will be able to make them, something like that, I don't know. But it creates this really weird world, like this, like, more, better, most of the time. That, like, a long-running series where it's like, yeah, here is a fun thing. Every week you get one little, you get like 1 hour dive into the world, or half an hour dive into the world. Like, why would you want that? I want to watch a 20-hour video of what you've been up to in the last 3 years, or I want to watch a 2-minute highlight video where you show everything that you've done in the last week. You know, you take all that recording and filter it down to just that. And it's like, man, the Let's Play is always like built on this idea of like, let's show how things are actually done. Let's show how something, even just a simple idea. We came up with this on the spot. What if we made like a little transition room? We're just using some Deepslate, which we happen to have around anyway. And I think the end result is good. I think we need we need some more blocks, clearly. But the end result, it's at least interesting, right? Maybe you're agreeing with that, if nothing else. Oh, also there's a big, okay, the stronghold has this this like extra line around it, so we got to go like this, and then yeah, there's like a then the very top block goes higher than that. I don't know why this isn't even a stronghold room. I just like that we're building it here. It's got some fun stuff. 20 hours of non-stop content would be lovely. I miss the old style of Let's Plays, Adorable Ho. I think they basically became the live streams, right? I think the Unlisted live stream playlist is like, here is the old style of Let's Play. You can have it by the thing. And it's great because a lot of people do seek it out, like surprising number, given that there's no other way. I'm sick home from work, watching Cat and playing with my cat. Thank you for making this day slightly more bearable, says Georgie Pepper. Thank y'all kindly, Georgie Pepper. I hope you're having the best day in Australia. This is my accent I'm doing for you. But, yeah, the live streams have two benefits. One is that they're longer, and the other is that, like, it's easier to, like, directly make them make financial sense, right? Because even though there's, like, a few people, I'm like, really, one of the, like, most honoring, humbling, I don't know what the word is, like, the most, things that makes me feel the most gratitude is that there are hundreds, sometimes even thousands of people that want to watch this long-form stuff that I believe in so much. I think that is a really nice message that you're collectively sending. Thank you for sending it. But there is a real there's a real problem in trying to make sure, like, having an audience of a few hundred where ads pay a fraction of a cent per viewer doesn't make sense for making something that takes a serious portion of your day. And so what's the solution? Well, I mean, honestly, the direct support for live streams is the one that I think makes a lot of sense. I think, you know, in the same way we say, like, oh yeah, well, everything should be free. Saying everything should be free is like a really easy thing to do. And honestly, it's something I am, like, genuinely quite committed to as an idea. It's like, well, There are lots of paid platforms where you can take content, but in general, even here on YouTube, we have the membership system, right? Even here on YouTube, with that membership system, it's still not. Let's look at that. Now we got a proper transition room. Speaking of the membership system, by the way, thank you, Darren Hughes, for the membership gifts. But yeah, there's the. Should I make this the same on this side? Yeah, sure. Why not? You kind of have to, right? I feel like. And now we have a little transition. So we go up here. We could have some nether brick stairs, actually. In fact, I can just make that. No, I don't have any crafting table. Thank you so much, Darren Hughes, for that. Just as a point at that. But like that's the way that the longer form discussions make any sense, right? Is that like, well, you know, if you tip $1, that's the equivalent of like 500 people watching. If you tip $10, that's the equivalent of like the entire amount of people who might normally watch something that's super long form, discussing something that's not Minecraft. Because even though I actually like Minecraft topics, I want to dive into more of them. Like I really want to talk. There's a lot of like things that have changed that I want to like dive back into, especially now with Bedrock being so different, and be like, here's how you do it now. I need to relearn, so if I'm relearning, you know, let's all relearn together, sort of thing. I think I might want to put some glass on the side of this too. Yeah, you know, okay, what people love. Okay, people always love to say this. You gotta be like, I'm gonna have A pillars and B pillars and stuff like that. So let's do it on the outside of this. Let's build one. There we go. Let's just have a big old stack there, and also a big old stack over here. And now those are pillars, right? Yep, that's what a pillar is. And then, just for a bit of depth, we have a block come out over there. You see that? Now it's a complex building. Your number count is annoying me. It's meant to be more members, says JP Gaming. Thank you very much for your suggestion. I mean, if you want to make it more members, I agree with you that it's annoying. You gotta hit that membership button. Toycat Pro Builder. Yeah, I should do a whole thing on like, well, here is the building ways now. What you want to do, you see, is you want to throw out everything you know about building, because it's all garbage. And then you want to replace it with a building tutorial I watched on YouTube at 3 a.m. And you want to ignore all function of your buildings to focus on the form. If you can't post nice screenshots, what's even the point of having a nice build? Okay, avoid that. Okay, avoid that. Okay, avoid that. Can continuously do this, I guess. But yeah, it's okay, not anymore. Not anymore. See, it's Ghast is such a weird one. How does any of this work? I don't understand. I don't understand at all. See, I think this tunnel might just keep going, honestly. I wanted it to stop, but I like the idea of it just like running all the way over here. I like the idea of not needing to use a not needing to use any fireworks to get over here. So I'm actually going to mine for as much of this as I can. We're going to check what layer this is at. Layer 64. We're going to go up, and then go up, and then go down, and then... Is that 64? This is 65. How do we place a block down below this? Is a very hard question. I guess we don't. Okay, that's 64 over there, so we just... There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're kind of running out of space here. But it's fine. Do I have any more? I can make some more polished Deepslate. We're all fine. And then we'll mine through here. Just to make the stream become a reality, you know? I've never heard these tips before. It's amazing. Yeah, the trick is that if you're ever in doubt, just throw it out. You ever have a bad time, just eat a lime. You know, everything in life can be solved with a simple rhyme. I say that every time. No, I think that it's weird because basically every aspect of Minecraft can come down to just have fun, lol. Like even like what's the most efficient way to build a farm? if you want to build a really efficient farm, that's great. If you want to build a farm that's more fun, is more visually pleasing, that's great. If you don't want to build farms at all, that's great too. I've seen so many people like argue over like the right way to play and whether like some things are this or that. And it's like ultimately like, yeah, you do you, I guess, is the ultimate answer. Which is always funny because I always have video, like one of my favorite types of videos to make is like, you're doing this wrong in Minecraft. And they're always popular videos, which tells me like, man, when you take away people's like guidance of like, what is right and wrong, they look for a system. We don't have systems just because we need to stop people. It's because people want to stop themselves. You know, there are all sorts of laws that we've made and passed, and you know, there's this happens a lot, where like no one was ever breaking it in the first place. We would just all go, what would stop someone from breaking it? What would stop me? Hypothetically, right? From doing a live stream where I said that for every dollar you donate, I plant a tree, and then just not planting the trees with the money. What would stop me? You'd hope my moral decency. You'd really hope. But you know, a lot of people will ask questions like that, conclude, I don't know really, and then we'll make things based on that. Whereas there are so many like things that are wrong that we should stop, but like no one thinks that they're that common, and so it just doesn't really happen. And you know, is that good? Is that bad? You tell me, I guess. You tell me. But yeah, so we used some Deepslate today. We finally used up all of my Deepslate, which is great news, because having some cobbled Deepslate is wonderful. I'm glad when I do. Having a full chest full of it, different feelings on this. You know, this is such an unorganized place. I need to take the polished, put it on one side. Take the tiles, put it on one side. Yeah, I'm gonna work out this. Actually, wait, this shulker box we could organize away. Because yeah, Deepslate is a really valuable resource, but only when you want it to be. These you know, these Let's Plays, whether they're live or not, they're a really fun time. To me, I enjoy them a lot of the time. I think I rhymed time with time there. But yeah, these Let's Plays are a lot of fun to me. But it's also something that, like, okay, you can't do every week. You can't do all the time. It just doesn't make any sense to. Like, sadly, maybe happily, maybe whatever. If you think it needs to innovate and change. And ultimately, that is the signal that I have. The signal that I must work with or within. And so that's the signal I do work within. I think that there is I think there's a clear message that if you want to make long content, super long content, that works. You want to make super short content, it works. Everything in between kind of gets squeezed out. And if you like that stuff, you can support it and help it existing. Obviously, I always mention the direct ways because of course I'm going to mention like, hey, here are ways that I make money. Did you know you can? But even just like, you know, like, you know, telling anyone you know about them, or like, if you watch all the way through and give them the fun audience feedback, you know, like a like and a comment, just the small things like that that let me and the YouTube algorithm know. They're the things that are really appreciated. They're the things that will do really well, and it's something I'd like, but totally understand if you can't do them. It's just something that I'd like. So this has been some weird ways to use Deepslate. This has been the Let's Play Live, by the way. Let me know what you thought. I had some fun today. We dove a little deep. We went a little shallow. And ultimately, the cool thing about the Let's Play is even though it seems like it's infinite and very long, eventually it's limited by something. And that's like my lifespan or the survival of this Minecraft world. Which, you know, it does get worryingly broken sometimes. But we'll hope there's a very long life in that left. And yeah, I look forward to doing some more things of this over the next few weeks. Obviously, not only the Let's Play live streams called Let's Play Live, or the Let's Play episode called Let's Play, are the ones where I'm in this world. You'll get to see it a ton more, hopefully over the course of Streammas, because Merry Christmas, Merry Streammas. Believe in it or don't. It's just as real or not as if you don't. And that's beautiful. Thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Have a good day, because this is the end of Let's Play Monday.